Char Bidis. I wake up in Junagadh, back on the mainland. It is 5 a.m. and the guest house proprietor's son is knocking on my door. I dress hurriedly and run downstairs. Remarkably, in the emptiness of the world before dawn, a single rickshaw sits across the street. I step in and tell him I want to climb the holy mountain. As we pull away from the curb and make our way through the silent streets, we are the only sign of life in the city. I walk slowly up a seemingly endless set of stone steps. On the way up the path, set into the earthen walls of the mountain, there are shrines to one deity and then another. Brahma, Vishnu, Krishna, Shiva. They each sit in their own spaces carved into the wall. Small candles burn slowly and gracefully at the feet of each. As I have become accustomed to on this strange journey, I stop occasionally to pay homage, to light a candle, to give a small offering, a flower, a coin, tobacco, or a drop of water. Next to one of the Shiva shrines, there is a tiny chai stall. Only a small dung fire illuminates the brass cooking vessel, the ladle, and the face of the chaiwala. It is chilly out here in the darkness, and the cup is warm in my hands. So I sit for a few minutes, my hands overlapping each other around the tiny cup. When I am finished, I want to stay a while longer, to order another cup, and to just remain invisible in this darkness, but I don't. Instead, I stand up and bow a silent namaste to the chaiwala. Before I turn uphill to continue the climb, the walla spills something on his cooking fire, causing it to flare up. The flash of light illuminates the shrine, and I see that at Shiva's left foot, there is a lion. I have a feeling of deja vu and pause for a moment to search my memory, to consider whether I'm dreaming again. Because the experience of India is so surreal anyway, it's difficult to know which it is. I continue the slow, meditative journey up the mountain. There are a few others ahead of me and behind me as well, but not enough to erase the feeling of solitude. We all walk in silence, and there's a deep feeling of reverence to the journey. It is still dark, and I am clothed in linen and wrapped in an Indian shawl, so there are no visible signs that I'm a Westerner, and no one gives any sign they have noticed. The climb goes on for some time. It is a 10,000-step pilgrimage after all, and I realize that the climb is like a car trip in which you fall into a kind of meditative state and are not really aware of the passing of time. Until, that is, you finally arrive at your destination, and the car comes to a stop, pulling you out of your waking slumber, and suddenly you are aware not only of how far you've gone and how long you've been in a trance, but that you weren't really ready to be where it is you are going. At the summit, the sky is pink and orange, and the sun is stretching its arms, preparing to pull back the covers and peek its head over the horizon. In order to hang on to the quiet solitude for a while longer, I sit on top of a large boulder, facing the sun, and close my eyes. As the sun crests, I sit beneath the shawl and let my body absorb the heat. I surrender to my senses, and for a time, I melt into the horizon, becoming one with the sun's warmth. I drift and forget where I am. After what may or may not have been a long while, my body warm, I get up, drop the shawl loosely around my shoulders, and begin my descent. As I make my way down the mountain, Indian pilgrims are still making their way to the top. The sun is now out. My shawl no longer covers my head, and I am looking people in the eyes, instead of following or being followed in the dark. As the attention I get from the loss of anonymity means it takes longer to descend the mountain than it did to climb it. The looks of surprise from my fellow pilgrims tell me that I may be the only Westerner on the mountain. Between the eager handshakes, the photos with my camera, and the friendly invitations for tea, I begin to understand what a movie star in America might feel like when venturing into public. The mountain affords perspective.